Africa Investor Today is proudly brought to you in association with Petro SA and Afrexim Bank. Hello and welcome to Africa Investor Today with me, Avon Middleton, where we bring you the latest in African business news. We start with politics and economy news, where demonstrators held protests in two Guinean cities last week against military leader Moussa Dadis Camara's intention to run in next year's presidential elections. Protests were staged in Siguiri, where AngloGold Ashanti Limited operates a mine that produces 7% of group output, and Labe, a city 400 kilometers north of the capital Conakry. Around 20,000 people participated in the Labe March, AFP reported, citing organizers. Businesses were closed in both cities due to the protests. In Niger, the Prime Minister Seyni Oumarou and two of his ministers have resigned ahead of legislative elections due in October, state media reported last week. Interior Minister Albade Abouba will replace the Premier until a new head of government is named, but it is not clear when that will be. Oumarou, who is the top candidate of his MNSD party in the Western Tillabéri region, pointed out that as a candidate in the October 20 vote, he had to step down. The two ministers who are also running in the election are Communications Minister and Government Spokesman Mohamed Ben Omar and Isaka Labo, who is Minister for Religious Affairs. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back in just a moment.
Redefining energy means redefining life. At the Petroleum, Oil and Gas Corporation of South Africa, our commitment to greater innovation and greener fuels has made us pioneers in the field of gas-to-liquids technology. It has also earned us worldwide recognition for producing the cleanest fuels through environmentally friendly processes. That's how we've become the international leader in diesel technology. Through pure innovation, pure energy, pure brilliance.
In banking and finance news, Kenya's Monetary Policy Committee, the MPC, believes price rises are being driven by short-term supply-side factors such as drought, so the upside risks to inflation are low. In a statement about its decision to leave interest rates unchanged, the central bank also said the country's Statistics Bureau would release new inflation measures next month, a move which analysts expect to lower headline rates. The MPC said while risks to growth had significantly increased in 2009, the stimulus package unveiled in June would spur spending and create jobs. Rains would reduce power rationing, and higher tea and coffee prices may boost spending. Growth in East Africa's largest economy slumped to 1.7% in 2008 from 7.1% in 2007. The government's predicting a modest recovery to 3% this year, helped by infrastructure spending, but it is concerned that it may fall short. In news out of Morocco now, private banking group Attijari Wafa Bank has acquired majority stakes of France's Crédit Agricole in two African banks, Crédit du Congo, Congo's first bank, and Union Gabonaise de Banque, the third biggest Gabonese bank. A statement by the bank said the transactions are part of the agreement signed on November 25, 2008 on the purchase of Attijari Wafa Bank of the majority stakes of the French Crédit Agricole in 5 sub-Saharan African banks. In other banking news, the pursuit of carbon neutrality for banks may be a marketer's ploy to attract publicity, but it may also be a genuine attempt of an already low carbon-emitting sector to be environmentally responsible. At a press conference in New York on Wednesday, APSA Group CEO Maria Ramos reiterated the bank needed to reduce its carbon emissions. This followed a recent statement by rival Nedbank, which said it aims to be completely carbon neutral. What does carbon neutral mean? Well, it is the way a company is able to balance its carbon dioxide emissions with the amount it is able to sequester. By matching the two, a firm is either neutral or net zero. Also, one needs to consider the ultimate payoff for being carbon neutral. Supposedly, environmental concerns are by nature emotive and can provide companies the leverage needed to attract new clients, shareholders, and positive sentiment. With that, we're going to take a short break. More news when we come back.
Afrexim Bank is Africa's leading trade finance bank, an organization dedicated to promoting African trade through credit, risk-bearing and advisory services. We pride ourselves on having local presence throughout the continent and are committed to extending our award-winning trade and project finance programs to unlock private sector development continent-wide. We invite you to become a part of our vision for a strong Africa in a changing world. If you trade within Africa, contact us to support you.
In companies and markets news now, Central African Mining and Exploration Company PLC, CAMEC, which has accepted a $955 million takeover offer from ENRC, swung to an annual loss of $343.1 million after copper and cobalt prices collapsed last year. The London-listed junior mining firm, which posted a profit of $75 million the previous financial year to end March, also said on Friday a new processing facility was almost completed. Low prices during the global financial crisis forced the firm to suspend cobalt production and curtail copper output at its operations in the DRC, but operations resumed in March. The company, led by former England cricketer Phil Edmonds, said revenue rose 20% to $233 million and it had $19 million in cash at the end of March. The ENRC stated that it gained approval from CAMEC for a 20 pence per share offer and had bought or had agreements for 55.2% of shares. When CAMEC's facility is at full production by next February, it is due to produce 28,000 tons of copper cathode and 3,200 tons a year of cobalt cathode. In Zimbabwe, riot police have prevented shareholders of one of Zimbabwe's largest companies from gathering after a judge issued an order postponing the meeting for 2 weeks. Dozens of executives in business suits had to disperse on Thursday from the planned Kingdom Meikles meeting. Meikles executives are demanding the ouster of CEO Nigel Chanakira, who has refused to quit. An ally of President Robert Mugabe, Chanakira was given the job to comply with a 2005 law that white-owned businesses have 51% black shareholders. Meikles has banking, investment, supermarket, agricultural and retail interests and a leading Harare hotel. We're going to continue with more news right after this short break.
Africa Investor, the leading African investment magazine, is essential reading for investors in Africa, filled with the very latest in Pan-African investment and finance news. In addition, log on to africa-investor.com to find out more about our exciting capital market infrastructure and tourism events, and our long-standing investable Africa Investor 100 Index series, which tracks over $600 billion of African equities. Doing business in Africa, you can't afford to be without Africa Investor.
And in some infrastructure news, the quest for crude oil in the Chad Basin may have hit the fast lane as Borno state government has provided security for the exploration team and has concluded plans to construct the 2 abandoned federal roads leading to the prospecting sites. The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation recently announced plans to resume exploration in the Chad Basin with an initial $233 million budget. The 2 roads are the Maiduguri-Dikwangala and Monguno-Maiduguri, covering a total distance of over 400 kilometers. And Rwandatel's internet subscriber base is set to increase by 10% in the first 12 months following the telecom company's official launch of its connection to international fiber optics. A month ago, Rwandatel signed a partnership deal with Seacom and its sister company in Kampala called Uganda Telcom to have Seacom's connection. This meant that Rwandatel's 2G, 3G and ADSL customers can now access uninterrupted high-speed connectivity with bandwidth provided by Seacom. According to the company's CEO, Patrick Karenungofu, internet users will even double if the service is well marketed and after the undersea cable is fully connected to Rwanda. And with that news, we wrap up today's bulletin. Do log on to africa-investor.com for more news from us here. Goodbye. Africa Investor Today is proudly brought to you in association with Petro SA and Afrexim Bank.